I was in the fitting room today trying on a dress that did not zip up. And all of a sudden I started to mentally kind of like beat myself up, and I had to bring that in. I really had to bring it on in and recognize it. But just a few years ago, I wouldn't have even noticed it. I would have spoken all those negative words to myself, walked out the fitting room and let those words sit with me and marinate and just you know what, define me, really define me. But I had to like take it and like pull it right back in and say, we're not going in that direction. We are not going in that direction. So just recognizing that power. And even if we don't necessarily always believe, welcome to the Becoming Unique Podcast, Season 9. Hey, y'all. So those of you that are watching this podcast in video format, you will notice that the podcast looks a little bit different. I'm sitting on this beautiful blue couch and I have a microphone in front of me for the audio listeners. So let me give you a little bit of updates about this season. This season of the Becoming Unique podcast is going to be a little bit different than the previous 8 seasons. This season is only going to be me. That's right, it's only going to be me, and the episodes are going to be a bit shorter. But the guests are going to be coming back. I'm getting guests lined up right now for season 10. But before I move forward, in my previous season, we reached over 100 episodes. And I feel like it came like so quickly. And I currently have 105 Becoming Unique podcast episodes. And I swear, I believe every episode is listen worthy. It really is. For those of you that are new here, the Becoming Unique podcast is a lifestyle podcast with a focus around wellness. So 1 week we may be talking about gut health, and then the next week we may be having a conversation around being enough. There is just such a huge variety of different topics around you being the best version of you to listen to on this podcast. So to give you a rundown on this season, this is how this season's gonna kind of work out. I am going to share beautiful information with you guys around self-care and my book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. But within each episode, I am going to share previous episodes. So the base outline of this whole season is going to be around my book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. Those of you that don't know, just under a year ago, I released a book called Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. And this is a self-care book, but technically it's a workbook, because guess what? You got to put the work in with this book. This is not a book you're going to pick up and be like, oh, I'm going to read this over the weekend. I'm going to read this next week. No, this book is meant to take you over the next 3 months. It's broken down into 12 chapters, which I call 12 weeks of you putting work in with yourself to slowly and gently start to add self-care actions to your life. So I just wanted to go ahead and start going through the book. But not going through the book like we're like going over each chapter, but going through the book where I'm giving you supportive information around each chapter, and I'm giving you supportive podcast episodes around each chapter. On this episode, we're going to talk about chapter 2, which is called Affirmations. Chapter 1 of this book is called Prepare. Prepare is, you preparing to get ready for this journey of going into, making more time and space for yourself. But chapter 2 is when we're going to start getting into the work. So chapter 2 is about affirmations. Well, there's 3 podcast episodes that I want to share with you guys today that can support you in chapter 2 of Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care workbook. The I Am Enough episode. The I Am Enough episode is episode 4. And then the next episode to support you in this chapter of the book is Affirmations, episode number 9. Such an excellent episode. My amazing guest, like, she broke down affirmations so beautifully, and I definitely suggest you check that episode out, as well as I Am Enough. That's an excellent episode as well too. And then the third episode, which is called What is the Tea? So these are 3 supporting episodes that you can listen to, while the Becoming Unique is on. I'm not on break because I'm here, but I'm on break from guests. And if you feel like you want to go ahead and get some more of the Becoming Unique, the Becoming Unique podcast juice in there, these are 3 episodes that can support you this week and the Becoming Unique information. So let's get back to my book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. I wanted to make sure I was bringing in high vibrational language with myself and being aware of this. I can tell you, just about 5 years ago, I didn't understand what affirmations were. And I feel like if I heard someone speaking, high vibrational words to themselves, saying, I'm beautiful, I'm this and I'm that, I almost thought it was like they were conceited. That was my judgment back then. But now that I am in the place that I am now, I realize there's so much power in affirmations. It really is. Once you understand the value of affirmations, you can truly see your life make a shift. You really can. And I mentioned in this book the power of the words and just reshifting them. One of the best examples that I like to use is the I am sick example. When we may feel under the weather, we love to say, oh, I'm so sick, I am sick, I'm not feeling well. We're just speaking that upon ourselves. And to learn to change the words around to say, I am healing. Let's not sit in that place. Yes, we may not be feeling the best or, that we could feel, but let's not sit in that place. Let's start to move in the direction that we want to move into. So changing the wording around to I am healing and just realizing that. And so, like I was saying, I really didn't understand the value of affirmations. And there's a podcaster that I listen to. His name is Jim Quick. And he said, I am 2 of the smallest but most powerful words in the English language, because what follows I am defines who you are. So let's be mindful on the way we use I am. So I am beautiful. But a lot of times we can, I am something else. I don't even want to speak of words to it. It doesn't have to just be with the vanity part. Like, oh, I am not smart enough for that job. I am not small enough to fit that dress, and so on. Like, we can just use that in so many other ways, and we're not even noticing that we're doing it. I didn't even notice, the language I was having with myself. I was completely unaware of the language that I was having with myself until I started to get into this place of understanding the value of speaking these positive words. I still today have to fight through that language. I caught myself, I was in the fitting room today trying on a dress that did not zip up. And I feel like, I don't know what happens in those dressing rooms. The lighting is different. The mirror is different. Everything seems different. And all of a sudden, I started to mentally kind of like beat myself up. And I had to bring that in. I really, really had to bring it on in and recognize it. But just a few years ago, I wouldn't have even noticed it. I would have spoken all those negative words to myself, walked out the fitting room and let those words sit with me and marinate and just you know what, define me, really define me. But I had to like take it and like pull it right back in and say, we're not going in that direction. We are not going in that direction. So just recognizing that power. And even if we don't necessarily always believe, you're saying like, oh, I am healing, but you feel like crap. It's like, how am I supposed to say this, but I feel like crap? Change doesn't happen overnight, but consistency creates change. Consistency truly creates change. So going back to, just my thinking just a few years ago, I believe I did not think I was enough, and I may fight with those thoughts sometimes in these current days as well too. But if anyone said to me at that time, Unique, do you think you're not enough? I'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm good. Like, what are you talking about? I probably would have became very defensive. But now that I can reflect back on my past, I can look back and really see different situations on how I spoke out that I was not good enough without saying I'm not enough. Just to kind of give you a couple of examples. During the beginning of my journey, I started yoga. And I was posting yoga videos on Instagram and stuff like that. And I remember someone had commented on one of my videos, gave me some compliments. She gave me my flowers. And she said, you should be a yoga teacher. And I said, no way, I can never do that. Like, I'm in the comments knocking myself down instead of saying, thank you, wow. And I just ran with that. And I was like, and when she said, I was like, no way, I can never do that. Because I didn't think I was enough. I didn't think I was good enough to do that. Thank goodness I broke through those feelings and now I am a certified yoga instructor. But I couldn't receive it because I didn't think I was good enough for it. Even though, God was, sending someone to give me my flowers, I couldn't receive it because I didn't feel that way about myself. And even going further back, over a decade ago, I recall, and people would give me compliments. Oh, Unique, I like that sweater you have on today. Oh, Unique, you look good. And every time I got a compliment, I would give it back. And I would give it back in the way of, oh, this old sweater, oh, it has a hole here, and this and that. And my daughter, she's older now, but at that time, she was probably like a school-age kid to like almost a preteen. And she said, why can't you accept compliments? I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, you never accept compliments. You always give them back. If someone says you have a nice sweater on, you say, oh, this old sweater, and you give it right back to them. And, she may not have said in those words. I'm just kind of like paraphrasing it. And at that time, I was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I kind of like brushed it over, but for some reason it stuck in my mind. So now that I'm able to reflect back to those times, I'm like, wow, I didn't think I was good enough to receive those compliments. So I was constantly giving compliments back. And I still feel like I fight with that as well now. That those old habits are still running within me. Why can't I just say thank you and keep it moving? Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, you made me feel so good. Thank you. Why can't I say that? But I'm aware of it now. I'm completely aware of it. And when now I'm aware of it, I can go ahead and make those changes. It's just something so powerful about changing the dialogue to high vibrational dialogue, positive talk to ourselves, and so much more. Becoming Unique has an affirmation tea line where each tea blend has an affirmation named after it. So One of the affirmations is I am love. So that's the tea we're going to talk about this week because that's the tea I have. But let me go ahead and get my tea. This is the I am love tea. It's this beautiful red color. This tea blend right here is a blend of 4 different herbs. So the herbs that's in this tea are hibiscus, rose hip, and elderberry. All of the herbs that I use are organic herbs, and they are loose leaf herbs. So sometimes when we go to the supermarket and we get tea, we may not see them in the loose leaf form. We see them all grounded up and so on. But when you get this tea, you're gonna see it in a different form, and I will show you right now. So on my website, you have a choice to buy the tea as a loose leaf blend, or it can be a blend that is in the tea bags. But it will still be in the loose leaf blend in the tea bag. I will not like ground it down like you may see, with some of your favorite tea brands that, inside the bag it's just really grounded down finely. So this is what the tea looks like right here. So as you can see the tiny little roses, you can see the hibiscus, everything is shrunken down because it's all dried out to be able to make a tea. This is a loose leaf tea, and when you are making a loose leaf tea, you will use tea infusers. I created the Becoming Unique affirmation teas because within my self-care, I found out that I noticed that I had a habit of drinking tea every morning, and that was my time with myself. When I drank my tea, it was a quiet time with me. It was almost like a meditation with myself. And I was in a part of my self-care journey, I started to implement those affirmations. So I was like, okay, how do I bring these two together and make an affirmation tea? As we're sitting there sipping on our cup of tea, we can start to infuse the affirmations within ourselves, because I don't know about you guys, but I know my mind likes to kind of wander off and go here and go there and over there and back there, and starts all this chitter chatter, thinking about, what he said or she said, or maybe I should have said something this way, or I don't know. Just the thoughts are just all over the place. And with bringing the focus around the affirmation tea, you are now chanting high vibrational words to yourself. It brings the focus like, wow, I'm putting together this beautiful blend of tea by becoming unique. That's called I am love. And then you start to think about the love that you have for yourself, or the love for others, or maybe I can show more love in this area, or show more love to this person, or even send the vibration of love to someone else. Do you see how it kind of starts to shift the energy around that? So with drinking the tea, I also send an affirmation like journal tea sheet with your tea as well too, where you can write down your affirmations as you're drinking on your tea. So you could write down, I am love, I am strong, I am beautiful. You can do whatever you want to do. It's up to you, but it brings the focus from your mind chitter-chattering. Your mind can start to, sometimes bring anxiety on the day that's ahead of you. Start thinking about like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on. How am I going to be able to handle this day? And bring a lot of anxiety upon yourself or stress upon yourself. But, making time and space for this affirmation tea is allowing you to make that space to say, okay, I'm going to be calm at this moment. I'm going to speak these high vibrational words, and I'm going to be present with myself. So yeah, so that's the chat about the affirmation tea. If you guys have any questions, please send me an email. If this is on YouTube, you can leave a comment and so on. And after talking about the affirmation tea, I do have an episode which is much lengthier, just talking about tea in general, just having understanding on like what's the difference between herbal teas and like the teas you get in the supermarket, and just breaking tea down in a larger and more understandable form than me quickly just going over, oh, this is the tea that I have. So the episode that is called What's the Tea? And that episode is episode 58. So I guess it's midway through from all of the episodes that I have going on. So we are at, this is episode 106. So if you start scrolling down, you'll find episode 58. But I will also link the episodes within the podcast notes. So definitely check it out. So that was my chat of the day. I'm not going to hold you up too long because I want you to go ahead and check out those previous episodes and make sure you go ahead and grab your book, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care, available on Amazon, and anywhere you can order online. So if you order your books from Barnes & Nobles, it's available on Barnes & Nobles. If you order your books on Walmart, it's available on Walmart. As of today, which is May of 2023, it's not currently on any big retail shelves as of yet, but you can always go into your Barnes and Nobles and say, hey, could you please get this book in stores and so on, and and support a girl that way. But anyway, or if there is a buyer out there that is looking to bring some beautiful self-care books into their marketplace, definitely check this book out. My email is all in the details, so definitely check me out. Be sure to check out your affirmation teas to support you within your self-care. This is a great way to get started in self-care. Self-care is not one, there's not one definition to self-care because, each and every one of us is just so different. So what may be self-care for you may be completely different for what self-care is for me. But if you want small tools like some tea time, definitely check out the Becoming Unique tea and get your affirmation tea. Have this high vibrational herbal blend of tea along with speaking high vibrational words to yourself. And yeah, you guys are amazing. You know why you're amazing? Because you are. And thank you so much for checking out the Becoming Unique podcast, and be sure to tune in next week because we will move along to the next chapter of the Becoming Unique book, which is, Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care. And that's going to be journaling. So next week, we're going to have a conversation around journaling. We're going to have podcast episodes to support you around journaling. And we'll have a new tea to talk about. So yes, thank you. Have a wonderful week, guys. Bye.